Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about liquidity events. And I know I've talked about them before, and I talked about concentrated wealth. Liquidity events, as I said on Friday, a lot of times feel like the finish line. It's what you work so hard to get to. We went public, we sold the business, we launched a token, whatever it might be. But for you, for an individual, whether it's you and you're the business owner, whether you're a founder, whether you're an employee that gets stock and stock options, the liquidity event, whether it's going to happen or already happened, it's kind of just the beginning. Because now, congratulations, you have some wealth. That wealth might have liquidity, it might not, meaning you might be able to sell it in an open market, or you might not, or it might have less liquidity than you think. And there are consequences to getting to that wealth. There are taxes to pay, there are lockups you have to adhere to, whether those are lockups before you can sell the token, lockups before you can sell stock, whether they are kind of imposed by not being imposed, meaning you want to get long-term capital gain treatment instead of short-term capital gain treatment. You have to take into account things like AMT if you're doing stock options. You have to have cash available to do things like pay taxes or purchase your options. So I guess exercise your options. So there's so much planning that has to go into having some sort of liquidity event. Hopefully the planning starts early. If your company hasn't gone public, if your project hasn't launched a token yet, get started as early as possible with the planning, because you want to make sure that that wealth you're going to have is in a safe place. You know what you're going to do with it. If you need to put it into a trust or LLC or something like that to protect your assets, you can do that, but you can do it better if you start earlier. That doesn't mean that if your company's already gone public, or you've already launched a token, or you've already sold your business, that you can't do any planning now. It just means it's a little bit better if you start earlier. But there's always ways to plan. But one of the most important things to think about as you are thinking through this now liquid asset or cash or something that you have is, what am I doing with this money? Why do I need this? Why do I want this wealth? How is it going to affect me and my family? What do we want out of it? And those are some really important questions to ask, because that's where the planning gets incredibly personal. Is every family is a little bit different. So there's no generic advice for what you do with your stock, for what you do with your tokens, for what you do when you're selling your business. There's no generic advice, because no two families are exactly the same, and definitely their goals and needs are not the same. So liquidity events, that's kind of what we're going to be discussing for the next week or so. Hope everyone has a great week.